rivalries that I would like to see in Blue Lock. If you guys like this type of content, please remember to hit that like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, yeah, so this was very vague of an intro. My bad for that. But what I really mean by rivalries I would like to see, for those of you that don't know, is something, about Blue Lock that a gripe that I have is that a lot of rivalries are directly with Isagi, when I would more likely see a lot of other characters have rivalries between each other. Like, if you don't know, let's see, you see how Isagi has a rivalry with Rin, Isagi has a rivalry with Barou, he has a rivalry with a lot of these characters, but we don't see too much of Barou's rivalry with Rin. You know what I mean? Like, we don't see too much of that. We don't see too much of Barou's rivalry with Kaiser, even though they played a whole game against each other. It wasn't really like they were going back and forth, attacking each other. It was more of a 2v1 with Isagi and Kaiser. But I feel like Blue Lock would benefit a lot, and I mean a lot, when the community could have inner debates. Like, let's say a match is going on that doesn't involve Isagi, and let's say it's Bachira's team versus Chigiri's team. We could literally see a matchup between Bachira and Chigiri week by week, and it'll be so hyped just seeing two of the fandoms going crazy against each other. But yeah, so the first matchup slash rivalry that I actually want to see during the rest of Blue Lock is Barou versus Rin. I feel like this matchup has not been expanded upon enough. They've played each other at least, I think, 2 times now. No, they didn't even play in the Ubers game. They've only been on the same field twice. And both times, it just feels like these two players haven't even interacted at all. Now, of course, there's that iconic line that Barou says, Rin is just another Isagi. But I feel like aside from that, Barou hasn't really interacted with Rin like he's another Isagi. You get what I mean? Like, what I would like to see from these two characters interacting would be like trash talk, going at each other, because we already know Barou thinks he's the absolute king. And if Rin, a guy who wants to destroy everything in his way to eventually destroy the people that he wants to destroy, bro, if Barou gets in Rin's way, so let's say it's a huge tournament towards the end of Blue Lock, and they both have their own teams, and they're going head to head, and they both want to reach the final to end up playing Isagi, bro, that game would be insane, bro. The king versus the destroyer. Could you guys imagine how hyped that matchup would be week in, week out? Both fandoms just going crazy over every little thing their player does. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. Now, the next matchup I'd like to see, and that we've already seen it, and I've already mentioned it in this video, is Barou versus Kaiser. Guys, how do we have a character that calls himself the king and a character that calls himself the emperor, and they're not beefing? These guys are literally like two rulers, two royal kings that they think they are. They think they rule over people. They think they're the best of the best. And you're telling me they barely interact throughout the entire series? I feel like that's also a big waste. Like the Ubers game and most of these NEL games, most of the main antagonists, aside from the PXG game, I'll say, barely interact with Kaiser, man. Like, I wish Kaiser had more of a dynamic with Barou during their Ubers game. And I wish Kaiser had more of a dynamic with, like, maybe Nagi during the Manshine game. But it was mostly just Kaiser versus Isagi, which, yeah, I get it. That's the rivalry he's pushing to build up for the next arc. But at the same time, it's like, come on, bro. Like, this is about to get crazy. And if you really want to take it to the next step, Kaiser, I'm telling you, U20 World Cup, it's Kaiser versus everyone. I want to see him cooking Chigiri, Barou, Rin, Isagi. I want to see that. Every single one of them can get cooked. I don't give a shit. Now, this next matchup I want to see, or rivalry, whatever, was actually recently started in the NEL, and that's actually Loki versus Isagi. Now, if you guys remember all the way back when Loki and Isagi played, Loki absolutely destroyed him. And Isagi was like, damn, this guy's our same age. And it really put into perspective, like, he's our age and he's that much better than us. Like, wow, the world is huge. Like, I got a long way to go. You know what I mean? And then we get reminded in the NEL, but at least this time, Isagi is able to keep up a lot better with Loki. And it really goes to show you how far he's come. Towards the end of Loki, subbing out, Isagi ends up talking the most shit to Loki. Like, Loki said something hella cocky, And then Isagi just absolutely came in and destroyed him. He said some shit like, just because you happen to be born fast, something, 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 right? Basically hinting at the fact that, bro, you're just fast. Like, you're not that good. You were just lucky to be born fast. That's all it is. Bro, that's a violation. And Loki looked absolutely cheesed seeing this, like actually hearing that. So what I'm really surprised for is I really want to see Loki versus Isagi. I want to see that rivalry. I want to see more of it. I want to see what's going to happen the next time these guys play in a full game, because the first thing we see Loki do when he comes on the field in the PXG game is stop the Kaiser impact and call it slow. So, I mean, this guy's definitely easily on a different level. And of course, the last rivalry I would love to see between two characters that we haven't really seen that much is Bachira and Chigiri. I always thought, right, since the start, the first selection, you know, I always had a feeling that these two characters are like the two wingers. And I'm going to be dropping my U20 starting lineup video soon, but it might be out before this. But either way, I feel like these two characters, being as they both can play as like wingers instead of strikers, are like, bro, how have they not been fighting each other yet? Like, I haven't seen a head-to-head between Chigiri and Bachira the entirety of bluelock. Now, that should have been the Manshine versus Barcher game, but I get that game was, you know, focusing on Nagi, focusing on thing. But even when they played in the second selection, Chigiri and Bachira never got their same thing. Now, I guess it's because Bachira probably has more narrative weight than Chigiri does. But at the same time, the way the first selection set it up, it was like, damn, Chigiri was probably the best out of the Egoist 4, you know, like out of Kunigami Isagi. Like at that point, I think Chigiri was the best, and it was either him or Bachira who were the best. And like, honestly, I'm gonna be so real, bro. This is like, this is like a rivalry I would really love to see. I would really love to see a rivalry between a guy who's super duper fast, has added changes of direction, can dribble, can shoot, and a guy that's absolutely unstoppable on ISO, can dribble past absolutely anybody, and can shoot the ball. That's just going to be an amazing rivalry, and just their contrasting personalities. I would love to see that way more than I love to see that Chigiri versus Kunigami rivalry. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What rivalries are you guys excited to see? What rivalries / character archetypes would you guys to see? Would you guys like to see fight against our new characters, you know, Rin, Barou? What type of rivals would you guys want them to have? Leave it down below in the comments. And remember, hit that like and subscribe button if you guys like this type of content. Hope you guys all had a great day, and goodbye.